Higher Human first podcast ever. You're the number one guy, the only guy I would have had on this because you guys, you and Tim and JX, you guys really kind of motivated me to do this. But yeah, appreciate it, bro.
Hell yeah. What is it? What's today? Saturday. What is it?
November 14th.
14th. First episode. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Do you remember when you guys decided to do a podcast? Was that Tim? Was that you?
Tim had brought it up when he was living in an apartment, and then right across the wall, we lived in an apartment. He would always talk about it. And then I remember he ordered a couple mics, and then I want to say over a year went by before we actually did our first podcast. But he had been talking about it for a long time, and I'd always just been busy with other stuff, obviously training, but different kind of sponsors and stuff, and he's really the one that kind of got it going, got it moving.
Yeah, you guys do such a good job with that. It's cool to see the evolution of your guys' podcast and the production of it and just everything. Your guys' first one, do you remember who was it? Just you two talking?
It was me, Tim, and then this girl named Jessica.
Yeah,
she did what JX does for us now. Yeah, she didn't do as much. She was just kind of learning too, but she would help us with the first episode. And I think the first episode ever was in that Highway 85 or 83 studio. But yeah, it just slowly got better. And a lot was because it was Tim and Jax that really helped it evolve. I didn't really do too much. I would just come in and chit chat and talk, but they really kind of upped the mics, upped the audio, upped the visuals. But yeah, they got that rolling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, the idea with this, right? I've had this idea for a while, bouncing it off of you, but Higher Human being connecting with people that are about growth, right? And how we bring that into our lives, right? So that's performance, that's regular life, but I mean, you embrace that as much, if not more, than anybody I know. So to be honest, that idea, and you have the Higher Human, which could be viewed in a lot of different ways, right? But yeah,
Sorry.
Oh, I didn't know you guys were in here.
We're doing a podcast.
Sorry.
I called that. I said at least once my mom was gonna come in here.
Oh, good, man.
Sorry. That'll things like that happen in the first episode. So
Yeah, I mean, it's all good.
Part of it.
But yeah, Higher Human could be a lot of different things. So I think it definitely is cool to have you here and to be able to chat a little bit. But before we do that, we're going to. This is kind of a really cool moment, right? I'm a tequila guy. I don't drink a lot, hardly drink, but I like good tequila. Sean
Never had it.
Has never had it.
Never have had it.
Is a new father.
Celebrating a lot of things.
He's you're gonna be one of the best dads there is. But we're gonna take a sip of this Señor Rio extra añejo tequila, right?
Let's go.
Let's see.
Yeah, this is celebrating fatherhood, celebrating 2020. It's been a good 2020.
Shit, man, what a weird year.
It has been a very
curious
weird
if you
year.
like this. This is all you need.
My nose is a little. I was telling.
This might clear you up. So hold on a second.
See.
We gotta.
I might just say boof it.
Okay, we gotta do. Do you smell it?
Oh yeah, it
Smells wild. Cheers, man. Salute.
Let's go. Salute. Yep. Just sip it, yeah.
What do you think?
Smooth.
Smooth. No bite, right?
It's not too. No, it's
That might get
a
your
little burn.
That might get your sinuses right.
A little burn. I was telling Brandon too. I think I'm getting. I don't even want to say that I'm getting sick because I feel like I'll manifest it into it. But
yeah,
the baby's 10, 11 days old, whatever, right now, and even the weeks, probably 4 or 5 days before that, you don't sleep very good because Danny's on going through the labor and everything, but body's just feeling a little run down, and I think it comes down. It's from not sleeping.
Yeah.
Great. And that's what it comes down to. That's why I wasn't going to fight December 12th. Because I think I can train hard enough for a fight, just can't recover.
Yeah.
And therefore I can't train, I guess, as much as I need to. But sleep's the number one thing, I think, as far as a Higher Human.
Yeah.
If you want to really improve everything around you, I think it comes down to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, we always think about low hanging fruit, right? That's how I think from a performance standpoint is like, I think a lot of times coaches overcomplicate things. And if you look at like, what is the easy things to pick off? Sleep is probably the most important one. And I don't want to say it's the easiest, but if I could help somebody's sleep quality versus increasing their bench press, I'm going to go sleep every day, right? Because it's so important. So with that, like, we talk like, how have you transitioned? I mean, you crush it, but like going back to say when you weren't as aware to now, what do you do? Your routine? How do you view that?
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like I'm still just learning about not how important sleep is. I feel like I understand how important sleep is, but how to maximize getting the best sleep. And I have not. And I feel like when I'm in camp, I'm a different person. When I'm in camp, my thoughts are about performance. How am I going to perform at the next practice and the next day? And it's all about performance. When I'm out of camp, like the last couple weeks, even right now, my whole mindset's not thinking about sleep and not thinking about performance. So it's because of the baby and everything. But so if you're talking to me right now and I was in fight camp, I feel like my mindset would be in a totally different place. But it's interesting to be in this mindset right now and think about when I'm in that mindset, because I do feel like a different person. But I feel almost guilty not having that mindset out of fight camp. But it takes a lot of energy to constantly think about how I'm going to benefit or perform at that next practice. But right now I feel guilty because I'm like getting sick and I'm not sleeping good, and I'm like, I see myself as that constantly trying to get good sleep, cold, do everything right. And I'm like, fuck, I'm not doing everything right now. So I feel guilty a little bit, but
yeah, well, you're a new dad, man. You know, I think that's all right. You know, a lot of your energy now is going to be towards that. I've already seen that. Right. But walk me through when you're fight camp. Okay, you're locked in. Everything is revolving around being your best the next day, practice, right? When you're at home, you're in between those moments of training. Do you feel like you turn it off? Is it always there? Like you're walking around your house, you're streaming. Has your mindset still shifted into this performance, or do you go in and out?
It's going to be interesting now that we're at this house, because, I mean, your environment, it makes a big difference. Because that last house we were in was, quite a bit smaller. There wasn't really much of a backyard. Now I'm like, I have everything I need here at this new house, and I haven't been through a fight camp here. But at the last place, wake up, I tend to train around 9:30, 10-ish, because I feel like I can get up, get hydrated, which is the number one thing, is get up, do my meditation. When I'm in camp, I don't miss these. Like, I do occasional, like, I don't get as hydrated as I should. I don't do my 10-minute meditation in the morning. Like this morning, I did a 5-minute breath work. But like when I'm in camp.
When you're out of camp. When you're in camp,
I don't miss nothing. Yeah. I do my 10 minutes. I do my breathing. I do my hydration. But yeah, then I'll tend to train around 9:30, 10-ish. Make sure I can get hydrated. Make sure I can get my coffee in me and get it. I use coffee as a pre-workout. It's the caffeine gets me ready for the first practice, and I drink it accordingly. Drink it about 45 minutes before. Get ready to roll. We get ready to roll. And I'll train hard. Usually my first practice in the morning, pretty hard. And I'll come home and I'll take a nap, and I'll try to schedule practice either with you, if it's with you, or if it's hit and miss with Tim, or if it's wrestling at the lab. Well, if it's wrestling at the lab, it's at 3, so I don't really have a say in that. But if it's with you, we can do it at 4. Get more time in between each practice so I can get more recovery. And I think that's pretty a big deal. But yeah, if I go home after the first practice, I'm usually tired, very tired from the session, and it's pretty easy to just kind of go into rest mode because you're craving it. You're just like, oh, I just want to rest because I know I have to train again later. Yeah. So that's pretty easy. I don't. If I'm resting, I'm not streaming. I'm not gaming, because that takes energy. It takes a lot of energy to game, to be focused mentally on. It sounds funny, but I mean, playing Call of Duty takes a lot of mental energy. Yeah. Which therefore is a little physical energy too. So I'm not gaming, not streaming. if my goal is rest and recovery, which it is after practice, and then if I have another practice in the afternoon, it's how can I improve right now to make that practice better? And usually the answer is rest, recovery, and fuel, eating a clean, perfect diet. So, yeah, I feel like I can turn it off pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, you said that. I asked you that question the other day, and it was cool. Your answer was, when you're in fight camp, how you view everything is how it's going to affect you in your practice.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that everybody, even an average human, can learn to embrace more, right? As opposed to the instant gratification that you get from that whatever cheeseburger or a beer or whatever it is, right? Where you're paying attention to how you're going to feel. Like, I have my moments where Sunday I'm chilling, I'm bored. There's definitely a boredom thing, and I'll eat bad. Yeah. And it's like it messes up my next day. Yeah. So to be able to lock into how that is going to make you feel tomorrow at your job, with your family, and just kind of store that. Do you feel like did you always do that? No. Did you grow into that? Because that's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's looking back at, really even like 2-3 years ago, what's happened is I've acquired a bunch of small skills and tools, whether it's writing, journaling, stretching, the XBT app, breathing, learning breath work with you, because I started learning breath work from you before I started doing like XBT and all that other stuff. Yeah. But learning all these little things and doing them consistently and what makes a big difference. But like 2-3 years ago, I didn't stretch hardly. Like, we do our warm-ups at the gym or whatever, but it wasn't like I'm hitting cat-cows before bed so I don't wake up stiff. Stretching, doing all those little things, like hydrating in the morning, wasn't doing stuff like that. So I've just learned over the last couple of years, whether it's from talking, having conversations with you, reading. Tim's super into all of that optimal performance and stuff too. So if he's reading something, he'll send me a screenshot, send it to me, and then we'll just go back and forth like that, and just constantly learning and growing. And but yeah, like 3 years ago, I always wanted to be world champ, and I was trying to figure out how to become world champ. And it's not just going to the gym and training and getting good. I'm like, there has to be stuff that I can do outside the gym that can make me improve inside the gym. So I feel like the stuff that I do outside the gym when I'm in camp, whether it's the cold, hot, meditation, breath work, all that stuff, is why I'm going to be world champ. It's all the little things that add up. Yeah.
No, man. Well, I think it's when you take somebody that has really good physical tools, which you do, but you combine that with really a growth mindset where every day is this opportunity to get better, that's a special athlete. And again, like, I don't know anybody that does it better than you. There are people I've been around that are close, but that's why I believe in you as well, is that pursuit of just getting better on a day-to-day basis, not just with MMA, but in your life. I think that's a really cool, and that's really what this is about, right? Is like, it's like, all right, so here's a good question. For the average guy, right? The average guy, the average girl that can grab onto this idea of growth. Like, what would be your advice? They're not an athlete, they're not a UFC fighter, they're just, but because a lot of people won't even be able, it's like, that sounds crazy to them. What do you mean, like, grow? Yeah. They're not going to look at adversity as opportunity, right? They're just getting through their days. But for the person that can grab it, like, what's a good advice coming from you? How do you get better at that?
I like what you said. The adversity is what'd you say? Adversity is an opportunity to grow. That's a choice, right? That's one of the biggest, and that was one of the biggest things and easiest things that you can look at. Wait, what did you send me? Was it you that sent me that this morning or yesterday?
Yesterday.
What was that from?
That is from.
Let me read that real quick, because that one was like, that was powerful.
I'll tell you, it's a book I just started.
Generally speaking, we regard discomfort in any form as bad news, but for practitioners or spiritual warriors, people who have a certain hunger to know what is true, Feelings like disappointment, embarrassment, irritation, resentment, anger, jealousy, and fear, instead of being bad news, are actually very clear moments that teach us where it is that we are holding back. They teach us to perk up and lean in when we feel we'd rather collapse and back away. They are like messengers that show us with terrifying clarity exactly where we are stuck. This very moment is the perfect teacher, and lucky for us, it is with us wherever we are. That's so true, but I feel like if I would have read that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it wouldn't have like been as powerful. But that's the truth.
Yeah, you gotta sit with that. You gotta resonate with that and break that down and really try to think about it. Where it's, to me, it's basically saying that these moments where we feel these negative emotions that maybe some people would perceive them as negative are actually opportunities to learn more about ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and when we go through adversity, to be honest, I think if you open the door and step into it, you're gonna grow way more than when things are going
and
your way.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's not easy. I remember the first time when I tested positive for Austrian, I still don't understand it completely. I just don't get where it came from because we never found out. But learning how to turn that into that's okay. It's time for me to just improve, just continue to get stronger, continue to grow my skills. Because I was so young. I was 23, I think, 22, 23. I was like, well, I'm going to fight again someday, 100%. There's no question. So it's how good can I get in between the time right now, and I'm suspended for something I never did, but I can't look at it like that. I can't constantly. And there was days, like when it first happened, I would just cry. I'm like, I just didn't understand it. People are gonna say what they're gonna say. That also helped me with dealing with people on the internet saying you're this, you're that. Like reading that stuff, I'm like, what? These guys are that stupid that I can't let them have control over my emotions. Like they just don't get it. They're gonna say whatever they're gonna say, but dealing with that adversity and turning it into a how can I get better. That was like the first time I really ever did that, and it almost gets easier now when there's something that happens. Like, okay, how can I find the positive in this? How can I get better at whatever this is telling me I need to get better at? I feel like I've gotten better at that in the last couple of years, but it is hard. It's scary too.
Yeah, like it's like an honest reflection of. I think a big part of that is your ego, right? It's
for sure.
If you can be honest with yourself and accept where you need to get better, then that's an opportunity to grow versus denying it and being like, no, I got this, I'm good. Like I don't, right? Like that was a fluke. I mean, it's as you were saying that, what made me think about is, okay, you and I have been together for I don't know a few years now, and 3 fights. The first 2, right? The last one, obviously, people know, but you're the same guy afterwards. Mm-hmm. Which to me is, again, a testament to your mindset, is that you're frustrated, but like even going through the injury, you're in the hospital, you're still the same guy, which to me is, again, is a testament to that mindset that like, now it should come back and be better. Yeah. First fight, KO in the first round, the second fight, the nasty KO, third fight, the injury, but the same sugar was there, which is really cool.
Winning and losing in the octagon doesn't really, like I was telling Danny, like if life's a game, I feel like I'm winning. Like I don't, after that fight, I don't know. I go in there, it might be different if I go in there and get beat up. Like I'm like, damn, my skills weren't as good. Like I got worked, I got beat. I gassed out. My cardio wasn't good, but that fight I didn't feel like I lost. I got a lot of shit for that, and I still get a lot of shit for saying that. But that's just how I feel. I don't feel like I lost that fight. It wasn't anything to do with his skills or better. It was a freak accident. The amount of leg kicks landed this year in the UFC or just in any promotion, and how many times that specific kick happened. He didn't even know what it was. He thought he landed a calf kick.
Yeah.
That's not even what it was. So in my head, it didn't feel like I lost, but we'll see if I go out there and get beat up in a fight. You can only guess how you're gonna react, but I feel like just having Danny and the baby and having friends like you, Jay, Tim, like I can't lose with those kind of people around me. And a lot of people, their circles get big and they get bigger, but mine's always been real small, and it makes it easy. It's just comfortable.
Yeah. Well, going back to a lot of these ideas of growth, like what I love is I've learned just as much from you, hopefully, as you've learned from me. And there's always this reciprocal nature of our interaction. But it's like the idea of like the awareness book, and your happiness is not conditional on your status with win or loss. That's it, right? Like your happiness is not dependent on how many Instagram followers you have. That's the beautiful thing, right? Is like, that's what I think is another like interesting thing to talk about, is like, once you have that, who can hurt you? Nobody can.
Right.
Because your happiness is not dependent on those things. And that's another good question is, here's a guy, you're a guy that has 1.2 million Instagram followers, you have a huge fan base, you're a UFC professional athlete. How do you balance that? Is that the 2-year suspension? You realize that? Like, talk me through that, because I don't think I'd be able to do that. I think it'd go to my big ass head.
I remember after I fought Andre Suga, I broke my foot. That was the first time I made 6 figures in a night, which in money makes you feel a certain way.
Right.
When you get paid like that, you feel a certain way, because we're not taught how to act when you do that. So in my head, I thought I was a fucking man.
You're the baller, right?
I thought I was a man. My relationship with Danny wasn't the best. I just got I broke my foot in that fight. I got surgery, so I'm playing fucking Fortnite 14 hours a day, smoking weed. I can't move. I can't drive. I can't do anything. Danny's working 8 hours a day. Comes home, has to make me food, and I'm gaming. So I didn't understand relationships and communication that well then, but yeah, I think also feeling the different kind of that book, the Way to Love, right? The small one.
Yeah.
I wish we had that on there real quick. Read that first page, or the first chapter was the different feelings of joy, the worldly feelings of watching the sunset, or going out and getting drunk at a club. They're different happinesses.
But I think it's like soul feeling.
That's
worldly.
what it was.
And in that, the worldly is like more of a negative. Like, it would be like status.
Right.
Right? Like social media followers, which is a big one now. Money, things. Right?
Yeah.
But,
and you go out to the club. The way I kind of see it is, the yin and the yang. And I remember reading about that when I was 19, 20 years old, and it didn't make sense. Paul Chek would always talk about the yin and the yang. I'm like, going out the club is fun. Like, you could have a good ass time, but there's gonna be a come down from that. You're gonna have this high. The next day you might feel this low, and this like, is it worth it? It was that fun, but you come down, or
the pendulum is always gonna swing back.
It is, and then if you can kind of live this life where you're constantly at a, if 0 was just completely chill, and 1's, I don't know how to put it. I have it in my head, but I don't know how to word it properly. But I like to not have those extreme highs. And even after I remember knocking out Eddie, and they're like, "Why are you acting like this?" Because I was super calm, and I'm like, "I'm over it. I don't want to get that big rush of adrenaline, that crazy feeling of high, because I know with that high comes the low. So I just like to stay right around the 1, 2, just chilling. That's why we don't really go out much, because I feel like with those highs come those lows. They're like almost false happinesses. Mm-hmm. To whereas hanging out with Danny and the baby, watching a good show.
That's soul.
That's I don't really feel like there's a come down from that too much. That's more just chilling and true enjoyment. But I don't know. I'm still, learning and figuring shit out. In 5 years, I could listen to this and be like, what the fuck? I sound like an idiot. Because I'm constantly trying to grow. Yeah. And it's weird when people are like, you're changing. You change. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to change. I mean, you don't want to be that same guy from 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But yeah, that book, the Way to Love, that small book you got me is that book explains it really well.
Yeah, that first chapter, like, mind blowing, right? Yeah,
it was. It's always cool because we that's the best gift is books. We've shared a lot of we go to train, We have these conversations. You're reading a certain book, I'm reading a book, and we talk about it, and it's always fun. That's what, like, going to the gym, going to your gym, you coming here is like going out for me. It's like that's where we enjoy, that's where we talk, that's where we have good times, and it's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful to have this relationship and others like that. Again, is this idea of higher human. I think if you can embrace daily growth, your life now becomes this, it's exciting, it's challenging, right? Versus somebody that is just stagnant. And I think that's a big issue in our culture of, like, if somebody doesn't have passion. Now, not everybody gets to do, I get, like, sometimes you need a career, you make money, these things, like, that's fine. But pursue a passion outside of that, right? Jiu-jitsu is a really, you see that in jiu-jitsu. You see it in certain aspects of training. But having things in your life that you're growing with, I think it's just so important for people to be happy. I mean, it's an aspect of us to be challenged, right? That like, without that, what do you have?
Yeah, I think making yourself uncomfortable throughout the day makes being comfortable okay. Like, if I'm comfortable all day and I'm chilling, watching TV, doing whatever, gaming, and then night comes and I'm still watching Netflix or whatever, I have anxiety. I'm like, fuck, why do I feel like this? It's and what I think it is because I didn't make myself uncomfortable throughout the day. I didn't push myself on the treadmill. I didn't go on hit the Aerodyne bike like I should have. I didn't do this or that. But by making yourself uncomfortable, that's why I do the cold every night.
Yeah.
It's because I'm uncomfortable in the cold, and I appreciate that hot shower, and I appreciate chilling with Danny and being comfortable. If you're just comfortable all day, and everyone's so different. This is just for me specifically. I don't know how other people feel, but I can't be comfortable all day because I'll get anxiety and feel like I didn't. And that's something, maybe that's a weakness in my mind. That could be completely mental, and that's something that could be a weakness in my mind. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure myself out. But I remember what you said one time, and it was perfect, is growth could be your purpose. For people that don't have they're like, I don't have a purpose, and it could be self-growth, growing and mentally or physically, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, you can, with that perspective, you can grow at anything. You can grow at dealing with anxiety, right? You can grow dealing with stress. You can grow with being better with interacting with people. Everything can be viewed that way,
right?
Because ultimately, it's not their problem, it's mine, right? How I interact with the world is on me, not on them, right? And that's a choice, which I think is another, like, how you choose to live. Like, that's your choice, how you interact with situations.
Yeah. Danny sent me a good quote on Instagram yesterday that I thought was pretty interesting. It's pretty similar to what we're talking about too.
Where's it from? I'm always curious. Like,
my internet out here. It was Don Miguel Ruiz. It was
which is
nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves.
Yep.
All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are all in a completely different world from the one you live in. Yeah. What was the book I was talking about? Selfishness. Being selfish. Was it an Osho? No. Fuck. It might have been awareness book. I was
like
talking about selfishness.
And, like, love.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. Sometimes I read different things and get confused, but yeah, everyone's doing it for themselves, and that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Sometimes, like, even if it's for a good reason, it's still because it's making them feel good. If it's donating to charity, they're doing it because in turn it makes them feel good. Yeah. Was it awareness?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Like, I think about that a lot. Like, okay, and do you ever completely separate it?
Right.
Like, okay, this is a gift, right? Like, trying to focus on giving a gift because it's, like, not because I want a reaction or I want anything back.
Right.
It's because I want to help make you happy, or to, like. But I think it's an interesting dynamic.
Healthy, it's a healthy selfishness.
But there probably is always a little bit of it.
Right.
But trying to get away from it, trying to get to a place where there is no strategy. I don't want to be strategic in my relationships.
Right.
I want to just be able to exist with you as a brother.
Yeah.
And care about you and your family without there being any. I don't want anything in return. That's where I want to get. I want to have.
It's a high level relationship.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't want to be strategic and say, well, if I give this person this gift, like fuck that, right?
Yeah.
That's not a healthy way to exist. But we do it. So yeah, I think it's hopefully continue to get better at that.
It's an interesting thing to think about. Just just that thought, and everything everyone's doing is for themselves, but it's also it can be in a healthy way though.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think this podcast, I think the Higher Human is gonna be sweet. Get some sweet guests on and pick their brains a little bit about it. But
Yeah.
I always feel like I don't know anything in a way. Like I'm constantly learning to where I feel like I don't belong in this position because I'm not done learning. I'm like, God, I don't know.
But that's the beginner's mind.
Yeah.
That's a piece of what makes you great is you're never a master. Right? You're always a student. That is the Zen mind, the beginner's mind, the childlike mind is you're always growing. You're always a beginner, but at the same time, you're very qualified to give advice on this.
Yeah.
You're just as qualified as anybody else, right? And that's what's cool is that's an innate quality that you have as a human. Walk me through this because this is fascinating. Like your fight day, right? Because my first time with you, that I don't even know. There's not words for it. Like there's a lot of things in life I don't think words do things justice. Relationships, people you love, like it's just, you can't find the right words. But being able to see that experience, that your mindset is fascinating to me, especially in your sport. But I think people would find it really interesting. What is that day like? Like you wake up, okay, you made weight. Where are you at? What's going through your mind, getting closer to the fight, and then even walking into the cage?
Yeah, that's a good question. That first fight that you were with me was Jose Quinones. Yeah,
Yep.
March 7th. That was this year. So that was it was a little over two years layoff, which is since I've been 16, I've fought 4 or 5 times a year. Like I just always had a fight coming up, always. So that was different. I was like, but the day of the fight didn't feel too much different. I felt more calm than I usually do. I like to think of it back like the Warriors back in the day. Like if they knew they were going into war, how did they feel that morning? Like if they knew they were going to fight, were they jacked up? Probably not. They would waste energy. They got to be calm. They got to be, I feel like it's really easy to get into a meditative state leading up to a fight because it makes sense to. It's like I have to be. The more calm I am, the more energy I'm saving, and the more energy I can release in that. I have 15 minutes to fight, and I need all that energy.
Your mind wander a lot, or no? Are you able to be meditative from the standpoint of being really
following my breath? It's easier to follow my breath. Like last night, I was out in the pool. I did 10 minutes. The pool is not too cold. It's definitely cold, but 10 minutes of trying to follow your breath is more mental. It's like a mental exercise. Mm-hmm. But it's hard. It was harder. It's not. I was thinking about whatever I was thinking about
in the pool.
Yeah, and I was able to follow my breath pretty well. But before the fight, I'm like, it's just like there's no thought of just following my breath because I know that's how I'm gonna be the most optimal and be able to perform the most is being able to follow my breath. But it makes I don't know why. I think I'm also it's 6-week fight camp. Whatever how many weeks it is fight camp, I'm preparing for that day. And that day comes, like for that Jose fight, made weight, had a good weight cut, felt stronger than I've ever felt. I had been working with you for, probably about a year by then, something like that. So I was noticeably, I looked different. I looked stronger, and I felt stronger. I had a good fight camp. Everything felt good, and I just felt like it was weird because it had been 2 years. And that was the most emotional. Like after the fight, I remember Joe asking me whatever, and I just couldn't even talk because it was so weird. Danny and I would go on walks, and that was right when she told me she was pregnant, actually too. That was pretty cool. But we'd go on walks, and I would just see Joe Rogan asking me questions, see my hand getting raised, but that day. I don't remember specifically. I don't remember where we were staying. What hotel was that? JX was there. Tim was there.
That was New York. It was still fans.
You and Tank rolled in. Okay, yeah. I'm starting to remember more, but yeah, that was right when COVID. So it was a packed arena.
Yeah.
COVID was just blowing up. But yeah, I felt calm in the back. I'm just doing my breath work, just doing our regular warm ups and preparing for war. And it's unless you've done it unless you've done it, it's hard to explain what getting in a not getting in a fight, because you get in a bar fight, you get in a street fight, it's different because I don't know, I know I'm preparing for a fight, and I know whoever I'm fighting is preparing to fight me, and it's just different. It's strategic, it's war, it's chess, it's physical chess, it's who's gonna break first. In our sport, you don't have to necessarily break someone if you landed on their chin. You don't have to physically break them. Well, I guess that is physically breaking them, but I'm talking as far as making them tired, because that's the biggest thing in fighting. I think is if you get tired and you start fatiguing, your skills aren't going to matter as much. If you're completely fatigued, your 1-2s aren't going to be as nice. Your defense isn't going to be as good. So cardio's got to be the number one thing in fighting, and I felt confident that my cardio was there from working with you, from doing the rounds I was doing, sparring, and the training I did leading up to that. I felt confident going into that fight. But if I hadn't done all that, if I had a bad camp and I wasn't confident going into that fight, had a bad weight cut, I don't think I would be able to be in that meditative state as easy. I'd probably be thinking, fuck, I hope I don't gas out, or I hope he doesn't kick me in the leg or do whatever, something is hurting. So being confident in the preparation and preparing for that, I feel like I'm really good at preparing for fights now. I've been in a lot of fights, and I've done a lot of different fight camps, but I still feel like we're improving each fight camp. But definitely preparing as good and smart as we are makes it easy to get into that meditative state and that like calm mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think, like you said, I can't imagine that's another one of those things there's probably isn't words for. And the average Joe, the average person out there that thinks they would be able to do it, they need to check themselves, because, I mean, I've been an athlete my whole life, and I have nothing but respect for you and people that do your sport, because it's a wild, like, there's nothing that compares to that. So I'm so grateful to just experience. I've told you that it's like a highlight of my career. It probably is the highlight of my career to be a part of that, and to be at that cage, and to just like get a taste of it.
Yeah.
Because my ass ain't getting in there. Like, yeah. I don't like my ego like that. I wouldn't have been good at that. So there's just it's such a wild experience, and I think there's very little people that can do it and do it well.
Yeah. It was cool having you there.
Yeah.
Like you said, obviously you don't understand fighting at a technical level to where you can give me commands while I'm in the cage, but you do bring we have a chemistry together where it's at a calm. It's a calming energy.
Yeah.
You do help me in that fight weeks and before the fight, warming up, stretching. And all that's so important leading up to the fight that it is awesome having you there, and you're going to be there until we're done fighting. But, it's cool how it's awesome that you're able to come and that you like coming, and it's fun to have you there. And it was cool when I fought Jose after the fight. You could see the corner cams, and you and Tank and Tim getting fired up after the fight it was cool to watch. I always like watching that part, because I've watched that fight, so I watch all my fights a lot.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you have to be your biggest fan. I remember I'll record all my rounds sparring, and I'll watch them a lot. And I remember hearing this one fighter at the gym. He's in the UFC. He's just like, I hate watching myself spar or fight. I'm like, it's just how can you not be a fan? Me watching myself has helped me so much. I have film from 4 years ago sparring at the lab, and just seeing my progression is so cool. But I think watching myself has been a huge help in getting better.
Yeah. I mean, video stuff's huge, right?
Yeah. Even when we do it, even when you're trying to teach me how to deadlift and where to put my knees and my back and not jerking, and like watching myself do that helps so much. But I guess everyone learns different too.
Right. What's the last thought that goes through your head before a fight? So like, I don't know what that would be, you know, and then at some point you shift into you're just flowing, right?
Yeah.
But is that even, you know, is there a...
I always have a little different mantra: too fast, too long, too strong. Like I'll say that through my head while I'm, you know, it's either I'm following my breath, if I'm just sitting there trying to
be present,
deep, or if I'm moving around, shadow boxing a little bit, getting warmed up, jumping rope, too fast, too long, too strong, whatever that mantra is for that camp. I usually say it throughout the camp before sparring, in the back, in my head, just too fast, too long, too strong. Well, I think that was the last couple ones. Too fast, too long, strong. It's just constantly going over through my head. And then the walkout's interesting. Without the fans, it's different, way different. Not as I don't want to say enjoyable, because they're just different experiences. But I'd prefer the fans being there. And I always say, it doesn't matter who's on the outside of the cage. I'm gonna perform. If I'm in the cage, I'm going to perform. And even that last fight, I was performing. I felt like I was doing everything right. Perfect. You know, I had a good camp. Everything went good other than that, you know, that nerve. But that's something I can't control.
Yeah.
It is a fight. And I get a lot of people like that'll go in if I'm streaming or on Instagram, I'm like, fuck Cheeto, like, fuck him. But I don't think like that. I don't not like him.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't get either, is like, it's not like I don't like him. He's got a family. He's got kids. He's got a wife. He's me in a different world, in a different life. So it's not like that. When I say I'm gonna beat his ass or I'm gonna knock him out, people think I don't like someone. It's like that's our sport. That's what we do. Of course I'm gonna try to knock him out.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was watching that Jordan documentary too, just seeing his mindset going into games. And then I've been watching a lot of Mike Tyson lately and seeing his mindset, just it's kill. It's interesting playing with different mindsets, because if you have awareness of your thoughts, you can have different. You can get deep into different mindsets. You can become a different person. When I'm in fight camp, when I'm sparring, when I'm in these different modes, you have to become that animal, and it's almost easy to become that animal because it's just in us all. Just to letting go, and just wanted to, you know, think about just the word kill, just break someone is, it's fun getting in that mindset too, but it's almost kind of scary because you come in and out. But now that we have a baby, it's gonna be, I don't know, we'll see where my mindsets go, but I'm excited to get back into camp. The biggest thing is, because I wanted to fight December 12th. Even you were telling me, like, I don't know, maybe you should wait. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll be fine. But definitely waiting now. They're just not sleeping good enough. But I'm excited to get back into fight camp, whether it's January, February, whenever I can start sleeping good and getting into that mindset. Because when I'm in that mindset, I feel like I'm the healthiest me. I'm eating perfect. I'm working with Dan Garner, who has me eating perfect for my body type. We're training a lot. We're training more than now, obviously, because I'm not training for anything, which makes me feel like a fucking beast. I feel like an animal when I'm training like that, and my body gets in shape. I know when I'm in good shape. My body feels different. I look different. I'm just have a different mindset. I'm sleeping so good, and just I enjoy fight camp, and I don't think a lot of people do, and I really do enjoy getting into fight camp.
Yeah, I think that's you, man, and living a higher existence. You love growth, man.
Yeah.
I think
that's where I grow the most, I think, is when I'm in fight camps, for sure.
I mean, to me, man, Papa Suga is going to be even scarier of a beast. You know? I mean, I really believe that. Like, it's, you know, I don't have kids, but I think I can't imagine there's anything more, right?
Motivating.
Like, yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, so like, we chatted a little bit about that, but, and I don't know even know how long we've been going, man, but winning a fight, having a baby, doesn't even compare, right? They're different.
They're totally different. Yeah, I don't even really know how to explain it. Winning a fight's sweet. it provides to be able to have a family, but having a baby, when she's laying on my chest and you're just holding her and she's so warm and she just like, I don't know, it's weird.
That's you,
it's
right?
just, it's me and Danny.
Yeah.
It's me and Danny mixed, and it's just every day her face already is like changing and she's getting different expressions, but every day, because the first day you're like, oh my God, I love this thing so much, and then the next day you're like, wait, I love her more? How? I thought I loved her as much as I could yesterday. But, like, she just keeps getting... You just get, like, it's a attachment, a bond that keeps growing. But also, it's, like, it's another attachment, which is... Yeah, it's okay with your kid. But it's also, like, it's an attachment. It's, you know, she's her own soul. She's her own person, and she's going to end up making decisions like I made that my parents didn't like, and that affected them because they didn't want me to make certain decisions that I got to be conscious of and aware of, that she's going to make her own decisions, and Danny and I can only teach her what we know and have to be okay with whatever decisions she ends up making. But it is weird being attached to her so much. Like, if anything happened to her, I'd lose my fucking mind, and I know that, and it's a scary thought knowing that. Like, if she got sick and something happened to her right now, I would be so upset. But I almost see that as a weakness, but I'm like, it shouldn't be a weakness, but it kind of technically is. So I go back and forth with stuff like that in my head, but it is fucking definitely different than winning a fight.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that you even think like that, to me, is, again, you guys are both, you and Danny, are such good parents. You're going to be, you know, such amazing parents. But, all right, so 20 years passes. That's hard to think. You're 46. Your beautiful little daughter says, Papa, Suge, I want to fight. Are you like, let's go, and you're going to be coaching her? Or you're like, no, I think let's try soccer. Or, you know, like, you want your, like, is that just a, you know, do you deal with it? But would you want your daughter to fight?
If she's as good as me, if she knows how to not get hit. But I think the reason I got as good as I got is because of the amount of fights I took, and I was as much sparring as I did do growing up, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Like, those years were sparring so much and getting hit a lot in the head. And that scares me a lot. Like, once I learned more about the brain and how important it is, and you see, like, Muhammad Ali, like, he went downhill fast. Yeah. Just guys like that, it's scary. But I think I don't want to say I was born to fight, but I kind of feel like that. You know, when I found it just clicked. It was like, this is what I want to do. And if that's how she feels, then I can't do anything about that. But I think just giving her the opportunity to do as many things as she wants to do, whether it's sports or, you know, hair. She could love hair like Danny, which would make my life a lot less stressful. But yeah, we'll see what she likes to do. I think she's going to be an athlete. Because Danny's a fucking good athlete, and I'm the best. No, and I'm an athlete, so I think she's gonna have some good genes, and she's gonna be a fucking beast.
Oh yeah.
But it is scary if she, you know, she wanted to box or fight. It would be we'd work on a lot of defense. I think, or just maybe get really good at wrestling and taking people down and grappling like Khabib. He don't get hit in the head too much.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of years for that, man. You know,
yeah, that would be crazy. I'll probably be still fighting at 46 too. Shit, if I can start sleeping better in the next couple days.
Yeah, shoot, man. Well, let's answer some questions. And then,
let's do it.
I know you guys got stuff to do, but
so you posted on Insta some
yeah,
questions?
I figured and going back to that book, the author is Pima. I'm gonna totally butcher this, but Pima Chodron.
The one that I read, that quote you sent me yesterday. That was good.
She's an American Tibetan Buddhist, ordained nun, and then a bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. But she's 84 years old.
Damn.
That book, which was suggested to me by actually a high school friend. Let's see. That's When Things Fall Apart.
When Things Fall Apart.
Yeah. And I'm only like 2 chapters in, and it's really good. So it's like good, just, you know, it comes back to this Zen, Buddhism,
Yeah.
awareness. To me, there's so many of these concepts that you just see repeating.
Yeah,
Letting
they're all
go,
similar, but just
non-attachment.
worded differently, and sometimes you like attract to certain people the way they word it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was good. That one. I read it twice.
All right, so let's do some questions here. But man, higher human. Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, no, this is. I'm
I
excited for you. I think obviously, just like anything, you just gotta stay consistent with it and just bust it out, even fucking times you don't want to, and it'll grow.
Yeah.
I think, especially like, cause Tim and I, the Timbo Sugar Show, I think we attracted a pretty good audience from having conversations like this. We don't have them every time, but I think the way you ask questions, the way your brain works and thinks, that I think that the audience, separate from the Timbo Sugar Show, but I know the Timbo Sugar Show fans are gonna fucking love this.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. Like, for me, I realized connection is so important, and trying to, if there's anything that I like, passion and have purpose, would be to try to help people find that.
Yeah.
And I think if we can facilitate that, I mean, you do such a good job with your audience is so big, and you represent so many different things, but you do a really good job at promoting growth.
Yeah.
And you're making a difference. Like, that to me, and my connection to you, to be honest, helps me make a difference.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. But that's a big, big passion is like, people that live in Montana, or they're in these small places that have never been exposed to these concepts, but they're there.
Yeah.
It's huge, man.
Right.
It's huge.
It is. It could change people's lives.
Yeah.
That's what it really is all about.
Okay, so let's bust out a couple questions, and then I know you got to go. You got things to do, but all right, this the first one's a good one. What is one thing you wish you knew at 20 years old? So you're 25, 26 now?
26 now.
So, I mean, how would you answer that? I think I know how you'd answer it. But
At 20. So I think at 20, what was I still living? Tim and I living together at the apartment at 20. Fuck, I felt like I was on a good path. I was, around Tim was still fighting. We were just training constantly. I think I learned everything at a good pace. Like, I learned about healthy eating slowly, to where I was cutting out certain things slowly. But I definitely could have ate better when I was 20. I would have probably, I think, the biggest thing I could have benefited from was probably working with you. And if I could have started working with you when I was 20, I think I would be, even more of an animal than I am right now. But I still don't feel like I missed out too much. But I think working with someone that understands strength and conditioning at the level that you understand it would have benefited me more than anything.
yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and coming back to that, right? Like, you also, I feel like with that question, it's always, you are who you are because of what you
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So it's like,
It's a tough question. It's
yeah,
tricky.
like, do you want to change anything?
Right.
Because you are where you are because of that. But I get why people always ask that. It's,
Yeah, little advice.
get better at practicing good eating habits. Start to sleep better.
Incorporate a meditation, even if it's slowly. Because, like, for me, meditation was such a slow process, and still is. It's not like I'm just fucking meditating 4 hours a day outside. It's like slowly, like, when I first started, it was like every couple days, and then it was like, oh, I need to be more consistent and do it a little bit longer, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it every morning, and then it's, it's a slow progression.
Yeah. This is another good question. It says, hey, I'm struggling with finding a purpose in life. Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, for me to answer that, obviously you'd have to. It's like, who are you? Where do you live? What do you like to do? Like, do you have kids? Because having a kid, like Danny and I having a kid at this time right now, had been perfect. Like, we're financially fine. We just got the house that we want. Like, I always tell people, don't fucking have kids until you're completely ready, because I can completely fuck you.
But are you ever ready? You know what I mean?
I feel like we're ready. I
Yeah.
feel like I don't know if it was a good time. It was like it wasn't scary, and it also comes back to, we prepared just like for a fight. A fight's fucking scary if you're like, hey, let's get in a fist fight. Like, I'm not in shape. It's like, hey, you guys are gonna have a baby in 9 months. Okay, we took our online classes. Danny learned how the baby needs to latch, and the important things like that made it way less scary to when we left from the hospital, I felt like we were good. We got it enough to be able to take it from there. But not having a purpose was the question. That's tough. But like you said, I like the self growth is money. If you could, that can be your purpose, and that can turn from self growth into, okay, I want to help other people learn how to grow. But it's tough not knowing the person specifically or even having an idea.
Right. For sure, man.
This stuff's pretty smooth. I keep catching myself sipping it.
Not bad, right? I mean, like a good
Slowly
tequila.
sipping it.
Yeah, it's
Kind of burns, but I'm like,
the agave, right? I mean, you don't need a lot of this, dude. Like, that's the thing, man. I barely ever drink.
kick my cold.
Might clean you out.
Yeah,
So,
we'll see.
Yeah. I said earlier, it's like, I'm definitely not trying to make this guy an alcoholic, right? That'd be the worst thing, which you said you're way too smart to do that. Yeah. Don't drink a lot, kids.
Yeah, that's tough.
Everything in moderation. You said this. We did a podcast, and I thought this was just totally jumping off topic here, but how you talked about smoking weed and how not everybody should do it and how that can be abused. And I thought that was really insightful. Like, whatever it is you do, right? If you can do it in moderation and balance it, that right? Like, there you go. Like, marijuana can enhance your life.
For sure.
Can also
Dehance it.
Yeah.
If that's a word.
Right?
But that's the fucking truth. Like, because when I first started smoking, it was not the bong is just not the healthiest way. I mean, if you're gonna do it every night, you should vaporize it. That's just if you give a fuck about your health, I guess. I mean, some people really honestly don't.
Right.
And that's just their choice. But if you do,
some people are using it to escape their life,
or
some people are probably using it to enhance their life.
Right.
That might be it, right?
Last night I smoked and went in the pool did my 10-minute. It does help me get my breath, but also it depends how you smoke it and what you're smoking, what strain, what quality of weed. There's so many variables to smoking. You know, do they spray it with pesticides? Right. Are you smoking pesticides? Are you burning it with a lighter and inhaling the butane? There's just so many things that go into smoking.
With that passing in Arizona, right? I wonder how that's gonna. Any thought on like how that'll affect?
That's another thing.
Will we get better stuff? You know?
Oh, I hope so. Like more quality marijuana, like organic stuff. I hope so. But I just completely don't even pay attention to outside worldly those kind of things, like the debate. I mean, it was kind of funny to watch the first debate. We watched it and they were arguing. I thought that was kind of comical, but I just can't catch I just don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I don't know.
It's too much.
Is caring gonna do anything?
Yeah, it's too much.
But if no one cares, I guess would we all just be fucked? Probably. So some people have to care. I just don't find I don't know. Me caring doesn't help the situation. I feel like, but maybe it would.
Sugar Sean for president,
I don't know.
2040 something.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll do one more.
I've said too many fucked up things on the camera for me to get. They won't let me.
We'll do one more question.
Okay. Prez. Me and Kanye. I don't know.
Yeah. You and Tim, bro.
Me and Tim.
Conscious, higher humans.
Yeah.
We'll change the world, man.
Tim's got to be in prison in the next 10 years. I can see. Just running his Prius into a fucking library. Surfing on his phone. That motherfucker. He does most of his surfing while he's driving.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. He's like, well, then I don't have to surf when I get home.
That's dangerous, man. All right, last question. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but I think people definitely are interested in this. Smoking weed while fighting, affecting lungs, cardio issues, maybe. I'm assuming not like smoking before you go into fight,
while
but
you're fighting.
That I don't know. Like you don't during camp, you don't smoke, right?
I'll vaporize still. I feel like I've gotten good at I have a pretty good routine to where it's just at night a bag of smoke, and I'm pretty like that's fine. I don't need 5 bags of smoke and an extra bong rip to get high. The closer to the fight, the less I'll do it. It depends too, like what time you smoke. If I smoke right before bed, my sleep's not gonna be as good. 100%. I know that because I track my sleep. I don't get as good REM sleep. I get stuffy. I get really dry. I just don't get as good as sleep. So So say tonight I'm in fight camp. Maybe I'll take, and I'm 5 weeks out. I'll smoke early, 6:30. Because also if I smoke, I overeat, and it's fucking damn near impossible not to. You feel like you're starving. I'm like, maybe something will make me feel a little better. You eat and you don't. So yeah. I think it can affect your cardio. I think everyone's body's so different that for me, if smoking joints, bongs, pipes, it inflames my lungs to make it harder for me to breathe. I don't feel like the vaporizer does that. But look at fucking Nate Diaz, smokes joints and go for 25 minutes all day. I think everyone's just so different. You have to know your own body, and I've found out this over the years from trying a bunch of different things, and for me, vaporizing works the best. And if I felt like it affected me in a negative way, I wouldn't do it. But I feel like the way I do it is fine, and it benefits me if anything. Not to finish my last little shot. Oh, maybe not all of it. I gotta sit that shit.
Oh, right on, dude. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank
Yep.
you. Oh man.
Yep.
My COVID. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you. I felt like we definitely touched on some really cool topics that I think people will enjoy, and the idea is just that, connecting with people that want to grow, man. So higher human number one, Sugar Sean, appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anybody that watches this, appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us and learning with us, and look forward to the next episode. One love.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
I think that's fucking money. Dude.
Yeah.